The little town of Coonoor lies at the head of a grand ravine and pass which bears its name. Although the ravine faces the southeast, a considerable portion of the town is chiefly built on the western slopes of one of the valleys at the head of the pass, and over the lower slopes of the spurs of the two hills. Coonoor, with its rugged knolls, profuse vegetation, and a color scheme which is both bright and warm, has always been described as a scenic, delightful and healthy retreat. Although the town has grown over the years, it still retains its old world charm and still breathes of the soft south, with a climate that is mellow, moist and relaxing, one which is calculated to induce a dolce far life even in the most jaded Lionizer. Needless to say, her river and its tributaries, the upper, central, and lower streams, as well present a pretty picture as they roll down their rocky beds. The three streams that form the Coonoor River originate as sparkling rivulets of beautiful spring water from amongst sequestrated wooded vales and in sylvan nooks, where masses of noble trees rise in all their glory, and the jungle floor is carpeted with crisp fallen leaves and adorned with a lush undergrowth of mosses, ferns, and rare endemic balsams. Forests primeval and the home of many specialized life forms. The upper and central streams unite near the old Coonoor Bridge, and from here, they continue further to the lowest part of the town proper, to join the lower stream, before falling over the rocky lip of the plateau. The combined waters then rush down the gorge, as the Coonoor River, which ultimately empties its volume into the Coonoor stream near the quaint little railway station of Runnymede. The entire course of the river abounds in picturesque cascades, beautiful yet not famous, but representative of many such falls in this district. Of all the delightful bits found on this stream, the prettiest is the Law's Fall, so named after Lieutenant later Colonel G.V. Law, the officer who traced and laid the present Coonoor Ghat, located about some 5 kilometers from Coonoor and lying just a little above the Wenlock Bridge. It was once a favorite spot for picnics. But unfortunately the same cannot be said as of today, for it now presents a sorry sight, being an ignoble receptacle for all the flotsam and jetsam and the sewage and sullage generated upstream. In fact, the waters of the entire river are now befouled with solid and liquid waste of all description, as its feeders flow through the township in general and through the municipal market in particular. Trash of all kinds can be seen along its entire course, entangled amidst rocks, ensnared on low overhanging boughs, and enmeshed between the vegetation that line its banks. The many limpid pools which were once a delight to bathers, are presently just collections of fetid water, with rims tarnished with rags, plastic containers, other solid waste, and organic debris, all washed ashore by the eddying flow. One may wonder as to when all this sullying began, and for the answer one has to travel nearly a century and a quarter back, when Coonoor was in its infancy and the first drainage system was begun to be laid in August 1891. Years after Coonoor was declared as a municipality and after much deliberation, it was decided to provide a proper drainage system for the town, which had so far depended on the steepness of its hillsides and heavy rains to scour clean its surroundings. The upshot was the division of Coonoor into two regions, Bazaar Hill and Mission Hill, each to be drained separately with open drains discharging into two covered sewers, one for each hill, which both led into an iron pipe that discharged the contents into the river just below the bridge. Considering that the population at that time was just some 4,778 souls, the discharge would have been quite insignificant. The same cannot be said as of date, for the population has increased more than tenfold, and ironically, the town still depends on these two drains which let in much more untreated sewage into the river. To add to the river's woes, solid waste that is generated in the municipal market, and that which has not been carted away, is dumped without compunction into the middle stream. The situation is such that the only two species of fish which are endemic to the streams of the upper plateau, and which are presently classified as endangered, the Nilgiri dano and the Nilgiri barb, have been virtually wiped out from the river. Little surprise, for the influx of sewage has depleted oxygen levels in the water due to eutrophication, a condition resulting from the oversupply of nutrients, which leads to overgrowth of plants and algae. Aesthetics and ecology apart, the threat that the solid non-degradable waste that is dumped as well offers a mechanical hazard by threatening to choke up the flow. This can lead to damming up of the waters with attendant flooding during heavy rains, particularly in regions where the stream flows through fairly level ground, and furthermore, a sudden breach may as well cause mudslides and wash away roads and bridges downstream. The reason for the complete apathy shown by the public and the authorities towards the plight of the river is just one. It has never been utilized as a source of drinking water, except for a couple of decades, when the waters of the Wellington branch of the central stream were pumped up to Grays Hill Reservoir, which came into existence in 1902. It is high time that measures were taken to save the river from any further degradation, and to put words into action. Clean Coonoor, along with a few other like-minded organizations, has mapped out a strategy to try and restore the river to its original pristine state. The first and foremost is to prevent dumping of garbage, and to this effect 3 hotspots have been identified to sensitize those responsible against the fallacy of continuing such an activity. Topmost on the list are the habitations and the municipal market through which the central stream flows, the eateries and other establishments situated on the left bank of the upper stream, and the houses that cluster the lower stream in the vicinity of the Darlington Bridge. As the first measure, mechanical removal of solid waste will be undertaken wherever possible. This will be followed by manual cleanups in a phased manner downstream. The only way to tackle the sewage issue is to divert its flow a little further downhill, to some relatively flat area where a treatment plant can be installed, and measures to this effect will be taken shortly in consultation with the concerned authorities. Quoting Jacques Cousteau, water and air, the two essential fluids on which all life depends, have become global garbage cans. We make deserts bloom but let water bodies die. An appeal is hereby made to each and every individual of this district to do their utmost to conserve the wetlands of these hills and elsewhere, for water is the matter and matrix, mother and medium, of life, and without water there is no life.